Howdy, it's Papa. I'm putting out a lot of videos right now because even though we've been van camping and pickup truck camping all over the United States for 25 years, I guess, off and on, we haven't done it in a long time. We've been staying in our minimalist cottage because of COVID mostly, but now we're we're van camping in my daughter's driveway in Tampa, Florida. It's really great fun. The temperature range is good, 60 to 80 degrees. That's perfect for us. And so I'm making a lot of van camping videos because I'm thinking about van camping stuff. So you guys get to see a lot of stuff. Now, did I tell you I was sitting on a bucket seat right here? I have my own private bucket seat here in the van. How do you like that? That's the same bucket I keep my food in, etc., etc. But what I really wanted to talk about right now was to say this. You know, the idea of minimalist living, which encompasses van camping, is quite old. It's as old as mankind. And I want to tell you about 3 super mega minimalists that I very much admire. And you guys have probably heard of all 3 of these. The first one I'm going to talk about is Buddha. He was, like trekking around the countryside of India around 500 BC, I think it is. And I don't know a lot about Buddha, but from what I've read, he was quite a wealthy fellow, a prince. He had a family, but he wasn't satisfied with that rich life with the rubies on each of the royal fingers. So Buddha forsook all that and he hit the road. He went into the countryside with only the clothes on his back. He might have had a bowl and some chopsticks. I'm not sure, but he tried to get to the gist of life, the central core of life, and he knew somehow that was not about material things. He decided. He probably, if I can get into Buddha's mind, he probably asked this question: who am I? What am I? Am I my stuff? Am I my material things? If I take all those material things away, what's left of me? Does my life and my happiness depend on those material things? And I think his answer was no. It was about spiritual things, however you interpret them. So Buddha is one of my main people that I admire for what he did. He went out and lived minimally, had no home. He roamed the villages and the towns of India, and because he was looking for reality and truth, people flocked to him. Now, you see these statues of Buddha, and it shows this really fat guy. I don't know if he was really fat like that. What he preached does not sound like a guy who's going to get just rotund. But anyway, I really admire him. Okay, guy number 2. And I'm proceeding in time from 500 BC. Guy number 2, you guessed it, his name is Jesus. He lived about 0 to about 30 AD plus or minus. He preached. He too was a minimalist. He owned the clothes on his back, and he did not have a house. He said the foxes have holes and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man, which is what he called himself, has no place to lay his head. And I think he was happy about that. I'm sure he was happy about that. He spent a lot of time hiking in the mountains of Judea, of Palestine, Israel, whatever you want to call it, and communing with nature, communing in a spiritual way with God. He abandoned material things and went for what really means something in life to him. And that did not involve having a house, having a lot of clothes, having a washing machine. Of course, they weren't invented back then. But anyway, I super admire him. He trekked the roads and he prayed a lot in the wilderness. He taught people, and because he was looking for the truth, people flocked to him. And I think anybody who examines themselves to find out who they really are and what life is to them and what their place is in life, and go out seriously and unreservedly searching for it, people will come to them, and that's why people flock to Jesus. Okay, so that's 2 out of 3. Who's the third one? Well, think about national parks. Think about the father of our national parks. No, it's not Teddy Roosevelt. No. No, it is not Edward Abbey. Nix on Edward Abbey. But anyway, it is, of course, a person that you know of, and that is John Muir. I have been a great friend and devotee of John Muir since I was about 20 years old, and I'm 67 now. I've gone to all the places I've gone to the place where he grew up, and I've gone to most of the places that he visited in his wild treks. He forsook a great job in an industrial city in Indiana that had tremendous promotion potential and the prospect of becoming a millionaire. He abandoned it all for the love of nature, and he spent the rest of his life pursuing that love. He had his clothes on his back, and he had a walking stick, and he just forged ahead. He would get a loaf of bread or two and dry it out in the sun, and then break it up into pieces, put it in his coat pockets, and hit the trail in Yosemite. That was way before it was a national park. Yosemite Valley, he picked that for his home for 5 years. He lived in Yosemite Valley, and then for the rest of his life, he went back there most summers and spent a lot of time. Hiked all the trails. He was an incredible hiker, outstanding naturalist, botanist supreme, and also a glaciologist, which is a branch of geology. He said, living is better than getting a living. And so I admire him immensely. Now, the funny thing about it is people were drawn to John Muir too, because he was brilliant, first of all, and his enthusiasm for the natural world was just bubbled over and was infectious, and people were drawn to him like a magnet. And it's so funny because people championed him, and those people, Jeannie Carr, who was the wife of a professor at Madison, Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin in Madison, where John Muir spent 3 years. She championed John Muir, and she found a wife for him. He had no intentions of marrying initially. He was in love with nature, but she found him a wife, and it just so happened that John Muir was married in, I think it was Mariposa, California. I've been to their house. He married a rich doctor and fruit grower's daughter. And he worked very hard for 10 years growing and expanding the business. By the time he passed away in about 1914, I think it was, John Muir died the same year that the last passenger pigeon died. I forget that passenger pigeon's name. Also, the last Carolina parakeet also died, who was called Miko. Anyway, by the time he died, he was worth what today would amount to about $4 million just because of that business. But that was not what was important to him. In fact, working hard in those orchards just about killed him until his wife finally said, forget this. Go do what you were born to do, and that's explore the world, love nature, and tell other people about the natural world, and by writing books and magazine articles and preaching the happiness and the joy of the wilderness. So I truly admire John Muir. And I want to try to be like John Muir. I want to try to be like Jesus. I want to try to be like Buddha and live a simple life that's meaningful, filled with love for my people, and filled with love for the natural world and love for the adventure of the road and exploration until the last piece of transportation I have is going to be that wheelchair in that old folks home. And I won't remember my name, but I bet I'll remember all the happy times that me and Grammy have had. All right. I hope you like this video. I like you guys because you like van life. And I want you to give me comments, ask me questions, subscribe if you like. And so, Papa out.